Hi. Thank you for attending today's reading. Let's begin. That time I possibly ruined my friend's life. I, 15, F, was a kid in first or second grade. I had a friend. Let's call her Lily. As a kid, I didn't have much friends. I was always wanting attention and I used to think I was on top of the world. Typical overly confident kid. Since I got good grades, my teachers liked me as well. There was a girl in our class, Lily, who was a bit too short, small for our age. So me and Lily were not exactly friends, but in the country I live, classmates are considered friends, so we used to play together at times. I used to get along with mostly everyone. More so, I didn't have specific friends and just used to go along with any person I'd want to play with. One day, I saw Lily outside of our classroom door. Mind you, our classroom was in an open field. There was a classroom and outside of the door was a field, and all it was kind of weird. I wanted to make Lily panic as our teacher had told us not to go out of the classroom in absence of a teacher since we were all the 9th of October 11-year-old kids. I, being the kid I was, pushed the door and closed it to make Lily panic. Little did I knew, her hand was in between the door and the wall. So, me closing the door had squished her little hand. I later opened the door only to see Lily in so much pain that she couldn't even speak. Her fingers were squished. Like literally squished. Fingers that were supposed to have a shape were completely flattened. Even the blood was nowhere to be seen. My classmates blamed me for it and I was in a panic. I tried to make an excuse but nothing worked. The next day, I got to heard that she got a surgery on all of her 5 fingers. I was a kid, so now I don't remember what happened next. But I'm glad her parents didn't sue me. End of story. Next story. A fart made me puke. Sue. Wasn't sure of the best place to post this. I was slightly hungover lying in bed this morning with my husband. The vet calls me to tell me my cat's medicine is ready. And husband starts acting silly and making me laugh. He lets out a funny lil fart. And I'm laughing as I get off the phone. Yal. It was so stinky. And it lingered. And lingered. I tell him he's gotta get some spray to clear it out. And I start retching. The smell of lavender plus fart was just wrong. I'm alternating between cracking up and retching when suddenly I have the realization that this is going to manifest itself as an actual puke. I run to the bathroom and puke my guts out for at least 5 minutes. I'm gasping for air and miserable. Husband comes around the corner after I quiet down and timidly asks if I'm okay. A story for the ages that I don't think I'll ever tell anyone I know. End of story. Next story. Everyone laughed at the poor athlete's shoes. But when she won, all were amazed. Ria Bulos is an 11-year-old athlete from the Philippines who has competed with no shoes on her feet. And only bandages were covering her ankles, soles and toes. The photos of the girl have gone viral after a running meet in a local inter-school. The sensation was caused by the fact that the athlete's family lives very poorly. And she simply doesn't have the opportunity to purchase running shoes. However, Ria found an extraordinary way out of the situation. She made herself shoes from the Band-Aids, wrapped them around her toes and feet and painted the icon of a popular sports brand on her sneakers. You might not believe it, but the girl won 3 gold medals in the 400-meter, 800-meter, and 1,500-meter competitions at the Iloilo Schools Sports Council meet. While rich people roll in money, the poor ones have to survive every day. In reality, this is a shame for the entire system, which boasts of its wealth. but still cannot provide millions, if not billions, of people in the world with the most basic necessities, including food, clothing and shoes. You can watch the full video here. https://www.youtube.com/watch v = n3 ers. End of story. Next story. Doctor has a problem during surgery. This story was told to me by a nurse a few days ago while I was in hospital after surgery, and I thought that Reddit is the best place to tell it. Enjoy. The story starts like any normal day for Dr. Nick, a surgeon at the local hospital. His last surgery of that day was a middle-aged woman getting abdominal surgery. Dr. Nick has been a surgeon for well over 30 years. So needless to say, he's got this. The surgery begins. And all was going well. Until midway through the surgery. When Dr. Nick found a problem. His 30 years of surgery did not prepare him for what was about to happen. And as his life flashed before him, he knew he needed help. Nurse 1. Seeing the panic on Dr. Nick's face, but not knowing what was wrong. Doctor, is everything okay? Quote. Dr. Nick looked down to his patient. Knowing in that moment that her life was in his hands. He couldn't stop, but he knew he needed help. Dr. Nick. Looking up to Nurse 1. There seems to be a problem. Nurse 1. What's wrong? What do you need? Quote. Dr. Nick looked to his patient and then to the nurses. Contemplating the last 30 years. This had never happened to him before. And without help, he didn't know what could be done. Dr. Nick. Nurse 2. I need your assistance. Nurse 2. Yes. Doctor. What is it? Quote. Dr. Nick. I need you to come behind me. Nurse 2. Still not knowing what the problem was. Came to Dr. Nick's aid. What is it, doctor? Quote. Dr. Nick. With dread, embarrassment and panic in Hoss voice. Nurse 2. My pants are falling down. Dr. Nick. With his small stature and lack of hips. Could feel his hospital scrubs sliding down his waist during the procedure. His hands were tied in the abdomen of the woman in front of him. And he knew that he needed assistance in order to continue. Nurse 2 came from behind Dr. Nick, grasped his pant scrub straps and pulled him back up, tying them back in place. ****. I hope this story was entertaining for you to read. The story was simple but funny. So I thought I'd put a comical spin on it. In case you're wondering, I had a hysterotomy, something I wanted, and I'm doing well after my surgery. Writing is like therapy for me. So expect to read more stories about my time in hospital. A Karen in my ward that I'm sure you'll find entertaining. Thanks for reading. End of story. That is all for today. If you want to support my automated channel, feel free to drop a like and subscribe. See you tomorrow.